This one took longer than I was hoping for. While I initially wanted to make this review after I finished my playthrough, it was then announced that the third Sonic movie would release December of this year, hence the holdup. With that in mind, and in contrast to the first game, how does Sonic's 3D platforming follow up fare? Mainly with these ports in mind? Let's find out. Sonic Adventure 2 follows Sonic as he is falsely accused of multiple crimes. As he runs from the military force called Gun, he discovers how he has been the subject of these false allegations as he runs into another hedgehog named Shadow, causing all sorts of chaos, no pun intended. Shadow, of course, in an alliance with Dr. Ivo Robotnik, or Eggman, meanwhile being spied on by the thief Rouge the Bat, whom while playing along is in a race against Knuckles the Echidna to find the Master Emerald Shards. Both sides must race against time to stop one another, until they must unite to stop another deadly threat to save the Earth. It's more simple than it would initially show, but it still works. On to the gameplay, and like the first Sonic Adventure before it, Sonic Adventure 2 is a 3D platformer. With the changes here is that the story now focuses on two sides, the hero side, which is Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and the dark side, consisting of Eggman, Shadow, and Rouge. Each side having characters represent speed, treasure hunting, and mecha platforming. The cost? No hub world, which is honestly fine by me, as the hub world wasn't great in the first Sonic Adventure. The speed levels, like in the prior game, are as fine as ever and are just as exciting, if not just a little bit more over the first title. Probably as Sonic and Shadow didn't feel anywhere near as sluggish as the former did in Game 1, but I still hold a lot of the same criticisms, if not just a little more, for the treasure hunting levels. Still found it boring and a bit of a drag for the most part, but there is one level with Rouge the Bat that just plain pissed me off. In that, while you're infiltrating an island, you have a severe limited time trying to unlock safes trying to find the emeralds. It randomizes the whole time, and you hardly have any time to get bearings. I had to reset so many damn times. Ugh. Anyway, Tails and Robotnik have stages where they pilot mechs. It plays similar to the E-102 Gamma stages in the first Sonic Adventure, so my criticisms with that stand here, with sloppy shooting made worse with sluggish platforming. And again, since mechs are involved, another case of I should like it, but I don't. At least there's no being chased by a robot. Or worse, fishing. But beyond that, there are extra modes. For single player, you can go back to the same levels you passed, not just for improving your score, you can revisit the same levels under different rule sets. Like for instance, in that level I hate so much from Rouge, you can find different treasure under a different time limit or find a missing Chow in Green Forest as Sonic. Speaking of the Chow, one of the things expanded on from the first game is the Chow Garden. Now when you raise the little darlings, depending on the alignment of the characters, they can grow into a Chow Angel or a Chow Devil. Ways you can train them is by grinding on extra levels and collecting animals they can fuse with and experience rods. You can also take them to school and check on their health with a doctor. You can also get in competitive sports with them, like a Chow Karate, where you can watch them fight, or a Chow Race. And how your Chow perform in these depend on how well you train them as well. Though I gotta say, seeing them cry when they lose does break your heart. It shouldn't be in the world of sports, but come on, the Chow are just babies! There is also multiplayer. Speedsters race one another, mecha pilots blast one another, which is far closer to fun I have with the mode. Treasure hunters still hunt, and it still sucks. And we have an unlockable kart racing mode, which, alongside the Sonic Drift games on Game Gear, served as a prerequisite to the amazing first two games in the Sonic and All-Stars Racing series. Even the Chow modes are multiplayer compatible. I do, however, have a criticism against the re-release of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the PC, as the battle content, which is on the freaking GameCube disc, as a reason to buy the GameCube version if you didn't bother buying the Dreamcast version, let alone a Dreamcast. This port was based on said GameCube version, so whatever the reason Sega had for making the DLC, I do not know. But it's stupid. That did not need to happen. With all that in mind, it's time to talk the visuals, and mind you, like the first Sonic Adventure, having not played the original version, for a Dreamcast port to GameCube, it looked great with its color palette and detail. And the frame rate's pretty steady from GameCube to PC, at least with my laptop specifications. Of course, what holds up in even the worst of Sonic games is the sound, especially the music from Crush 40 crushing it with Live and Learn, the track for Green Forest, Knuckles' cheesy rap to seductive jazz for Rouge. It all sounds great as you expect. Overall, even as a port, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is, in my view at least, a superior game to the first one. No hub world making the story flow better, cheesy dialogue and all, more content to do with little Chow babies, And of course, the speed-centered levels remain the best parts, though gripes remain with the same for treasure and mecha levels, in addition to some BS with the DLC of already existing content for the modern re-release. It's still worth playing.